Hey, it's perfect timing that you clicked on this video, because today I'll be discussing Jujutsu Kaisen chapters 255 and 256. How well they stand or fall as chapters individually, and also how well they did to add to the arc as a whole. But first, a quick recap of chapter 254. Kusakabe, he stands on business, stands on all 10 toes, after realizing he's the last line of defense at the moment to put down the King of Curses. Despite how surprisingly versatile the new Shadow style bag is, it was not deep enough to do anything more than entertain the king. The chapter opens up with Miguel and LaRue making their quick heroic entrance, saving Ui and Kusakabe from certain death, following a brief flashback. In the flashback, there's a discussion between Yuta Akotsu trying to convince Miguel and LaRue to help in the upcoming raid. Long story short, after a little bit of fussing, they agree and decide to help on the condition that one, Sukuna's domain be burnt out to where he can't use it. Second, Gojo as well as Yuta had to have fought and lost in the first place. Now, it's not a bad deal, because if Gojo and or Yuta being their best chances won, then there will be no need to put their lives in unnecessary danger. And then two, at worst, Yuta and Gojo, they would have came up with something, and we see that so far in the fight. Gojo was able to strip away RCT as well as Domain, and Yuta, he helped make sure to keep Sukuna vulnerable while his RCT is down bad. That makes this moment in time the most advantageous point in the battle to take out the King of Curses. Like, man, it's safe to say Gojo and Yuta did more than their fair share. Not only is RCT down bad, he doesn't have his domain, so no buff, no huge area effect of his forearms. The lower left one isn't completely healed, and the right one can't do anything really. And let's not forget the big stab wound he has through his heart, the one that does soul damage. Continuing on, the duo then proceeds to press Sukuna, making sure to not let this opportunity slip from their hands. In the midst of this squabble, we get a reveal of the technique of Miguel and LaRue respectively. LaRue has Heart Catch. It's a phantom-like hand made up of curse energy, and all the narrator discloses at this moment is that it lets him grab his target. And the drawback to the technique is that 1/10 of the damage done to the hand comes back to his user, LaRue. As for Miguel, his technique is called Prayer Song, and it activates whenever he moves to an internal rhythm. It grants him abilities that repel other curses and increases his reaction and physical limits, which go hand in hand with Miguel's physique. So much so that Satoru Gojo began to think that all black dudes are freaks of nature and just built like that. Miguel shut that down quick. Miguel's physiology, deadly accurate movement, stack that on top of a technique that buffs him and debuffs the opponent and his technique respectively, make him difficult to take out. It looks like Sukuna is reaching his limit at this point. His back is against the wall once again. Jujutsu Tech takes away another piece of his arsenal with this press, the World Dismantle. In order to cut a target and everything in between, Sukuna needs to chant, make hand signs while he's casting it, and then direct the attack itself, which is easy for someone who has an extra set of arms and a second mount. But now that Maki has her dismantle of her own, her soul cut katana, she cuts off another one of his hands, so now he can't make the hand signs needed. It looks like this is the final push that Jujutsu Tech needs to get the job done. And then the light of victory gets drowned out in a shower of black sparks. You guys should let me know in the comments, does Black Flash feel like a balanced mechanic in the power system? Where would you guys place Miguel and LaRue's curse technique? A scale of 1 to 5. 1 being I don't like anything about this technique, or a 5 being I absolutely like this technique. And would either of these techniques be in your top 5? Moving on to chapter 256, we open with what looks like Gojo being interviewed. Could this be us, the viewer? Could it be the narrator? Y'all let me know in the comments. Gojo gives us a quick recap of what Black Flash is. Black Flash happens when a sorcerer applies cursed energy to their physical strike within 1/1,000,000th of a second. Gojo further explains that 3 types of cursed energy hit the target that all need to hit in that 1/1,000,000th of a second, and also outside factors like temperature and even humidity affect whether or not a Black Flash will go off. Because of things like that, Gojo cannot land Black Flashes at will, even if he wanted to, but more on that later. The scene shifts back to Sukuna and Jujutsu Tech continuing the squabble, because in the back of everyone's mind, they know that Sukuna can recover something very vital when you hit a Black Flash. And if it's RCT, reverse curse technique, it will not be back to square one. Oh no, it'll be worse. Our heroes have been exhausted and everyone nowhere near has the same curse energy reserves as Sukuna, who could potentially outlast everyone so long as he keeps hitting Black Flashes. So back to the action. Sukuna continues to farm Black Flashes off of Maki like she's dropping loot in a video game. You know Sukuna must be feeling it because he even out-blitzes his own dismantles that he throws at Choso to then get another Black Flash off. We need a rule that if you get hit with Black Flash, you need to sit down and take a timeout, because at this point you're a part of the problem. In all seriousness, Choso is hanging in there to assist Yuji because Yuji's Soul Strikes nerf Sukuna no matter how many Black Flashes he lands, disrupting his output as well as loosening his hold on Megami. So with Choso's help to form convergence, we get as real of a confirmation at this point in the story that Yuji has consumed the other room paintings in order to get blood manipulation, like Choso. Yuji pulls off a piercing blood and has ominous Black Flash coming. Sukuna can sense it. And to make sure it lands, LaRue comes through again with Heart Catch to grab Sukuna's attention. This is another example of a technique working based off of a sorcerer's interpretation. And with the King of Curses distracted, unable to accurately guard, Yuji enters an awakening moment. Once the black sparks ebb and flow, Yuji enters a flow state. What will be birthed from this heightened state of being? We all know that Black Flash is not only a doorway to regaining something that you lost due to using cursed energy and taking damage, but it also leads to almost like a hidden ability, or just the ability to lock in and understand and get a better feel for your cursed energy and technique. Gojo landed a Black Flash. His RCT output was set to max to where he could literally regrow his own. I think these two set of chapters were good. 255 respectively, because it gave our heroes a short breather, a little more backstory into how these events unfolded, and also just much needed assistance and help. One thing I like about Gege's writing is he really does show that the characters are pretty competent on the protagonist side as well as the villain side, because this chapter allowed for a lot of improvisation on Sukuna's part for having to deal with new players entering the fold and him adapting with the handicaps that he has now. And then on the Jujutsu Tech side, where, to be honest, only Yuta really knew who Miguel and LaRue were, and Gojo, but they're not in the picture when they show up. So for them to work in tandem, continue to press the King of Curses, it just shows great improvisation and teamwork. Then of course for it to end how it ends, with Sukuna hitting off a Black Flash and the narrator reminding us that Gojo gained reverse curse technique after hitting off 2 Black Flashes. It did numbers on us. I remember me personally reading this week to week, just going back and forth forth, what was Sukuna gonna get? Because the wording, as for the King of Curses, implied that he didn't get RCT back, but we know that Black Flash usually opens up an opportunity, and we see it not for Sukuna himself, but for Yuji in chapter 256, where he enters his awakening state, his honor win moment, the moment that could turn the tide to this whole fight. I like the way, not just Gege, but how a lot of these new authors have put more emphasis on the team fight and involving the rest of the cast when it comes to a scuffle like this, instead of just, betting it all on the main protagonist. Because we see Yuji can't really do much. He has an important role, but he can't do it all on himself. It has to be facilitated by the rest of the cast, as we see even with Piercing Blood. Piercing Blood is still new, blood manipulation is still new, so he needed help from Cho. So yes, if Yuji concentrates and does, he can damn near do a Black Flash at will, but Sukuna's not just gonna stand there and let him do it. So LaRue has to come in clutch and grab his attention. And the ending panel is just phenomenal. It's definitely a small win in the grand scheme of this fight. Just to see that Black Flash not only rock Sukuna, but the entire building behind him, and then getting confirmation that Yuji's potential is being unleashed is definitely a great moment and one of my favorite chapters in this raid. If you made it this far, I want you to enjoy the rest of this process video. Let me know if you have any questions about my process, or just want to talk in the comments about this series and how you felt reading this part in the story. And if you want more content like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.